My name is Lauren Hayes, and before last winter, I thought the attic in our house was nothing more than a dusty, forgotten space where old Christmas decorations went to die. I never imagined it was holding a secret Rex sensed long before I did. The day everything unraveled started on an ordinary Saturday morning, cold, quiet, the kind of morning where nothing feels out of place, until suddenly, everything does. I was sorting baby clothes for my daughter, Emily, when I realized the winter bin I'd been searching for wasn't in the storage closet. Jake, my husband, insisted he placed all the bins in the attic last fall. So I grabbed the pull string for the attic door. The wooden ladder creaked as it unfolded. I placed a foot on the first step. Rex exploded. He lunged between me and the ladder, barking so violently the metal hinges rattled on the ceiling. "Rex, hey, what's wrong?" I gasped. He didn't look at me. Didn't even blink. His eyes were glued to the pitch-black opening above us, his tail stiff, his shoulders raised, a deep growl rumbling in his chest. I tried stepping around him. "Buddy, it's just the attic." Rex snapped his teeth, blocking my legs. I froze. I had never seen him act like this. "Rex," I whispered, "what's up there?" He barked again, sharper, pushing me back with his body until my heels hit the hallway carpet. My pulse spiked. Why was he so terrified of the attic? I called Jake, who was working overtime at the station. "Hey," he answered, casual, totally unaware my world had just tilted sideways. "You okay?" "Jake, did something happen in the attic?" Silence. A strange, too long silence. "What do you mean?" "Rex won't let me go up there. He lost it the second I pulled the ladder down." Jake exhaled hard. "Lauren, don't go up there." My blood went cold. "Why?" "I'll explain when I get home." That's not an answer. "Lauren, please, just leave it alone." Something in his voice made the hairs on my neck stand up. Fear, regret, a tremor he couldn't hide. I swallowed. "Jake, what did you put up there?" But he wouldn't answer. Instead, he whispered, almost begging, "Promise me you won't go up there until I'm home." My heart pounded against my ribs. "Jake, you're scaring me." Before he could reply, I heard a beep, the station alarm. Then he muttered, "I have to go. Just, please, Lauren, stay out of the attic." Then the line cut. I stared at the phone, then at the ladder, then at Rex. He stood guard beneath the opening, growling up into the dark, as if someone, or something, was hiding up there watching us. I felt a chill crawl down my spine. "No," I whispered, backing away. "No way. I'm not going up there alone." Rex pressed against my leg, nudging me toward the living room. I followed him, but every few minutes he'd glance down the hallway again. Ears raised, body tense, as if he was waiting for whatever was upstairs to move. By late afternoon, my fear had shifted into anger. What kind of secret did Jake bury in our attic? Why wouldn't he tell me? Why would Rex, who never reacted to anything, treat it like a threat? I paced the living room, heart pounding, until I finally snapped. No more waiting, no more silence. I marched down the hallway, Rex glued to my heels, and pulled the attic ladder down again. This time, I held Rex's collar. "It's okay," I whispered, though my own voice shook. "We're just looking." He whined, a deep, fearful sound, but he didn't break free. Not yet. I climbed 2 steps, 3, 4. Rex barked frantically, tugging at my shirt, trying to pull me down. But I stood on the ladder and lifted my phone flashlight into the darkness. What I saw made my heart stop, because in the very back corner, behind old boxes and dusty bins, were stacks of plastic tubs, not ours, not holiday decorations. Each tub was labeled neatly in dark marker, "Case files, do not open." Evidence sealed. Property of Hayes Investigations. Hayes, my last name. But I had no idea what they were, or why my husband had them. I shined the light further, and froze. A metal safe sat beside the bins, scratched, old, dented, but clearly used recently, fresh fingerprints, scuff marks. Dust brushed aside, and on top of the safe was a small black notebook with one word carved into the cover, Emily, my daughter's name. The room spun. "Jake," I whispered shakily, "what have you been hiding?" Right then, A loud thump crashed somewhere deeper in the attic. Something, or someone, moved. Rex lost it. He lunged up the ladder, barking, snarling, trying to get between me and the shadows. I dropped my flashlight. It spun wildly, illuminating a shape, a silhouette. Not Jake, not an object, not my imagination. A real, human shape, standing in my attic, staring at me. My scream echoed through the entire house, and Rex tried to launch himself into the attic to get to whoever, or whatever, was up there. The scream ripped out of my throat instinctively, raw and uncontrollable. Before the sound even faded, Rex launched himself upward, paws slamming onto the ladder, teeth snapping, a feral growl ripping through the attic opening, loud enough to shake the walls. The shadowed figure jolted backward, a fast shuffle, a gasp, then complete silence. My hands trembled violently as I scrambled down the ladder, nearly missing a step. Rex stayed halfway on it, blocking the opening as if daring anything above us to move. My pulse was a hammer in my skull. Someone was in my attic, someone Jake knew about, someone Jake hid, and that black notebook with my daughter's name on it. No, I couldn't think about that yet. I grabbed my phone with shaking fingers and dialed 911. 2 deputies arrive, and Rex takes the lead. The deputies from the day before returned within minutes, weapons drawn. Rex didn't bark at them this time, but he stayed pressed against my leg, staring up at the attic like he understood exactly what was at stake. The older deputy unfolded the ladder cautiously. "Ma'am, stay back." "Dog too." Rex growled. He refused to move. "He's protecting you," the deputy muttered. "Let him stay." He climbed halfway up the ladder. "Sheriff's Department, if someone is up there, announce yourself." Silence. He moved higher, shining his tactical light around the attic. Seconds passed. Then, "Clear." Rex still didn't relax. The deputy came down. "There's no one there now. Whoever it was must have escaped through the ventilation gap or across the rafters. But they were definitely up there recently." My body went cold from the inside out. He continued, "And there's something else you need to see. The boxes with my name and the truth about Hayes' investigations." Up in the attic, the deputy pointed his flashlight at the labeled tubs I saw earlier. "Case files, do not open. Evidence, sealed. Property of Hayes' investigations." The deputy frowned. "You said you didn't know what these were, correct?" "Yes," I whispered. "I've never seen them." He exchanged a look with his partner. "Mrs. Hayes, your husband used to have a private investigator's license. Did you know that?" I blinked. "No, he works in finance." "He used to," the deputy said carefully. "His PI license expired 6 years ago." "What?" My breath caught. "He never told me. He handled missing persons cases, fraud cases, domestic disputes, some heavy stuff." Every word made me colder. Jake, a private investigator, hiding evidence boxes in our attic. Why? The deputy crouched by the metal safe. "There's recent activity here, and the dust pattern suggests someone else, not you, not your husband, was accessing these bins." My throat tightened. "The person I saw?" He nodded. "Likely." Rex let out a deep, suspicious growl, but then the deputy lifted the black notebook with Emily carved into the cover. "This is concerning." I felt my entire world tilt. "What is that?" My voice cracked. "Why is my daughter's name on it?" The deputy sighed. "It's not what you think." He opened to the first page. At the top was written, "Operation Emily. Evidence missing. Do not disclose." My stomach clenched. "Operation?" He turned the page. Photographs, documents, a police case ID. The label read, my vision blurred. That's not my daughter. That's not Emily Hayes." "No," he said. "It's a different Emily." "Then why?" The deputy closed the notebook slowly. "Your husband was investigating the disappearance of a little girl named Emily Hart. Age 4, blonde hair, blue eyes, missing for 9 years. My legs gave out. That was my daughter's age. Her hair, her eyes. "Why didn't he tell me?" I choked out. "Because the case was closed and sealed. He wasn't supposed to be working it anymore." I felt sick. "So Jake kept the file illegally?" The deputy nodded. "And whoever was in your attic knew about it." Rex growled again, loud this time, staring at the ventilation vent on the far wall, not at us, at something behind it. Rex suddenly leapt off the ladder and ran across the attic flooring, nose pressed low, paws silent as he navigated the beams. He stopped at the insulation near the vent and started clawing, hard, frantic, determined. "Rex, what is it?" I whispered. The deputy rushed over. Rex ripped the insulation aside, and there, shoved deep behind the vent, was a cell phone, dust-covered, battery removed, screen cracked. The deputy retrieved it with gloves. "This was hidden recently." "What is it?" I asked. He held up a sticker on the back. A case ID. The same case ID from the notebook. Emily Hart, case evidence. My skin crawled. "This phone belonged to the missing girl," the deputy said quietly. "But it's not in police storage." He stared at the attic shadows. "Which means someone broke chain of custody." Every sound in the attic disappeared. Then, clatter, metal shifting, hard breathing, footsteps, not from the vent, not from the stairs, from deeper inside the rafters. Rex snapped his head toward the noise and barked. Violent, warning, terrified. The deputy shouted, "Whoever's up there, stop right now!" But the footsteps got faster. A thud, a scramble. Then the roof creaked as if someone was climbing into the crawl space. The deputy cursed. "Someone is still inside this house." My blood froze. "Is it the person Jake was investigating?" I whispered. "No," the deputy said darkly. "It's someone who didn't want you finding this." Rex barked again, and suddenly bolts rattled overhead. Someone was moving toward the HVAC tunnel, a way out, a way to escape. The deputy yelled into his radio. "Suspect in the attic, heading toward South Vent. Send backup now!" Rex lunged toward the direction of the sound, not to chase, but to shield me. He shoved his body between me and the attic void because he sensed something else, something worse. This wasn't just about a missing girl. This wasn't about Jake's secret job. This was about someone watching us, living above us, for days, maybe weeks. And Rex knew it all along. The attic shook above us, one sharp, heavy thud, followed by frantic scraping through the rafters. The deputies raced toward the sound, flashlights slicing through the beams. Rex didn't bark this time. He stalked toward the noise, silent, low, shoulders rolling like a wolf tracking prey. Every muscle in his body was locked on whatever hid in the dark. "Rex, easy," I whispered, but he didn't even flick an ear. His instincts drowned out every other sound. The older deputy pointed his flashlight toward the HVAC tunnel. "He's going for the ventilation exit. Go, go, go!" They scrambled across the attic. Then, a loud metal clang echoed from the far corner. The younger deputy shouted, "He's dropping into the garage crawl space!" Rex snapped his head toward the garage and bolted down the attic ladder so fast, the deputy barely leapt aside in time. "Follow the dog," the older deputy ordered. "He's tracking him." Rex flew down the hallway, claws scraping the hardwood, nose glued to the floor, tail stiff as steel. I chased behind them, pulse hammering, the deputies shouting directions. He skidded to a halt at the garage door and snarled, deep, vicious, primal. The older deputy nodded. "He's in there." He pushed the door open, gun drawn. "Come out with your hands!" The rest of his command was drowned out by the sound of metal shifting. Rex tore into the garage before anyone could stop him. "Rex, no!" But he was too fast, too certain. He lunged toward the back wall, claws scratching at the drywall near a narrow access panel. The younger deputy yanked the panel off, and a man exploded out of the crawl space, knocking the deputy flat. I screamed. Rex attacked without hesitation. He slammed the intruder to the ground, teeth clamped onto the man's sleeve, dragging him backward with terrifying force. The deputy swarmed him, wrestling him into cuffs. It was over in seconds. But when they rolled the intruder over, my stomach turned inside out. He wasn't homeless, not strung out, not random. He was clean-cut, well-fed, wearing a security badge clipped to his pocket. The older deputy swore under his breath. "Derek Lane," he muttered, "private investigator, fired 3 years ago for evidence tampering." My knees nearly buckled. Why, was he in my attic? The deputy turned the flashlight on Derek's face. And Derek smiled, a slow, chilling smile. "Honey," he rasped, "your husband drilled the hole I crawled through." My blood froze solid. "What?" He laughed, but the sound was hollow, wrong. "You didn't know? Jake Hayes and I used to work the same case, Emily Hart. He didn't drop that case, not for a second." The deputy grabbed him by the collar. "You accessed sealed evidence? Why?" Derek turned his head toward me. "You should ask your husband what he found. That made him bury the file." He smirked. "And why he never told you?" My lungs felt like they were caving in. "Jake buried the file?" Derek nodded. "That little girl wasn't just some random case." Rex growled so loudly the intruder flinched. Derek lowered his voice. "She's connected to your family." I felt the floor tilt beneath me. "No," I whispered. That's impossible." Derek chuckled. "Is it?" The older deputy pulled him away. "That's enough. Get him in the car." As the deputies dragged Derek out, he shouted, over his shoulder, "Ask him what he found. Ask him why he quit. Ask him why he hid everything in your house." Then he was gone. The garage fell silent. Rex pressed his body against my legs, trembling, not from fear, but from refusing to let any threat near me again. The front door burst open. "Lauren!" Jake sprinted into the house, eyes wild, face pale with terror. When he saw me standing in the garage, he grabbed my shoulders. "Are you okay? Is Emily okay? Did he touch you? Did he—" I pulled away. "Jake," I whispered. "Who is Derek? And why was he hiding in our attic?" Jake froze, instantly, as if someone had cut the power to his body. His eyes flicked toward the attic, toward the notebook, toward the safe. "Lauren," he said quietly, "I can explain." I stepped back. Rex moved between us. Jake lifted his palms. "Please, don't be afraid of me." My voice cracked. "You lied to me, about everything, about being a PI, about that missing girl, about the files, and now someone is living in our attic because of your secrets." Jake swallowed hard. "It wasn't supposed to touch you." I stared at him, shaking. "You were investigating Emily Hart behind the department's back?" He nodded. "Yes." "Why?" My voice cracked. "Why her? Why hide it all from me?" Jake closed his eyes, then opened them, filled with grief, fear, and something darker. "Because—" his voice was barely a whisper. "Because I know what happened to her." My breath hitched. "And because—" He looked directly at me. "Emily Hart isn't just some missing child." My chest tightened painfully. "Jake, what are you trying to say?" He exhaled. "She's related to me." My knees nearly gave out. "What?" He stepped forward. "She was my half-sister." The world shattered. "And I've been looking for her. For 9 years, secretly, because I think she's still alive." Rex pressed closer to me, as if bracing me for what came next. "And Derek?" I forced out. "Why was he in our attic?" Jake's jaw clenched. "Because he found something. Something he didn't want anyone to know." My voice trembled. "What did he find?" Jake inhaled sharply, like the answer would break him to say aloud. He looked at our daughter's bedroom door, then at the attic ladder, then back at me. Finally, he whispered, "Derek found proof that Emily Hart didn't disappear." A pause. "She was taken." My heart stopped. "And he thinks the person who took her," Jake's voice cracked, "is still watching our family." Rex's growl rumbled through the entire house. Because he understood. The danger wasn't Derek. The danger was someone else. Someone who put themselves close enough to watch a case Jake never stopped digging up. Someone who might still be inside our neighborhood, inside our life, maybe even inside our house. For a moment, Jake's words didn't feel real. They hung in the air like smoke, thick, suffocating, impossible to breathe through. Emily Hart, a missing girl, his half-sister, a case he hid from everyone, including me, and someone connected to that case, someone dangerous, had been inside my attic, watching us, listening, waiting. Rex pressed himself against my legs, trembling with a low, steady growl vibrating through his body. He wasn't scared. He was warning me, again. Jake swallowed hard. "Lauren, whoever took Emily..." They're not done. They've been tracking anyone who touched the case. Me, Derek, the investigators before me. My chest tightened. So the person in our attic was watching us because of the evidence here, Jake finished. Because I hid the last pieces of the case inside our home. My breath caught. Our home, with our daughter inside it. Jake's eyes filled with regret. That's why I told you not to go up there. I was trying to keep you safe. Safe? I snapped, tears burning my eyes. You hid a child abduction case in our attic, and someone broke into our house because of it. Jake stepped forward. Lauren, please. Rex stepped between us. Jake froze. He raised his hand slowly. Okay, I get it. But Rex wasn't finished. He turned suddenly, ears snapping toward the hallway. Every hair on his back stood up. His growl deepened. Someone was in the house. Again. The older deputy whispered, Everyone stay behind me. He moved slowly toward the hallway. Rex beside him, pacing low and tight like a trained K9. We reached the end of the hall and froze. Emily's bedroom door was half open. A shadow moved inside. I felt my lungs collapse. Emily! I screamed, lunging forward. The deputy grabbed me. Don't! Rex, however, didn't wait. He exploded through the door with a snarl so vicious it shook the walls. A man's cry erupted from inside. We all ran in behind Rex and found him pinning a stranger against the floor, teeth barred inches from the man's throat. The man wore a black hoodie, mud on his boots, sweat dripping down his face. Not Derek, someone else, someone worse. The older deputy grabbed him. Hands where I can see them, now! The man thrashed, screaming, Get the dog off me! Get him off! But Rex didn't move. Not until the officer dragged the man into cuffs. When the hood fell, revealing his face, Jake went pale. Oh my God, I looked at him. Who is he? Jake's voice cracked. He's the original suspect in the Emily Hart case. My stomach plummeted. He's a family friend. My father trusted him. He helped search for Emily. He was everywhere, every vigil, every interview. The deputy glared down at the man. We investigated him, he growled, but he disappeared after failing a polygraph. The suspect sneered. I didn't fail anything. You all set me up. Jake stepped closer. Why were you in my house? The man snapped. You took something that belonged to me. My blood turned cold. Her phone, the deputy whispered. He hid it in your attic. The suspect smirked. And I came to get it back. A shiver crawled up my spine. You lived above us, I whispered. In our attic, watching us. He shrugged. You have good heating. Rex snarled, jaws inches from the man's face. The deputy pulled him back as they dragged the man toward the patrol car. You're finished, the deputy told him. The man smirked again. Am I? Rex lunged, not to attack, but to force the officer aside. A split second later, the suspect reached for the officer's gun, but Rex was faster. He slammed into the suspect's arm so hard the gun skidded across the floor. Officers tackled the man instantly. Jesus! One of them gasped. This dog just saved your life. Jake knelt beside Rex, tears in his eyes. You saved all of us, he whispered. I don't deserve you, but thank you. The suspect confessed to everything. He took Emily Hart. He kept evidence. He stalked Jake after reopening the case, and when Jake hid the remaining files in the attic, the suspect followed him. Anne waited. Jake lost his PI license years ago after the case destroyed him mentally, but he never stopped searching. And in the end, Rex finished what Jake started. The case reopened. The truth came out. Emily Hart's remains were discovered where the suspect said they would be. Justice, finally, after 9 years. Jake and I rebuilt slowly, painfully, honestly. But Rex never left Emily's bedroom doorway again for weeks. He guarded it like it still held danger. Like he remembered the footsteps in the attic, the breath behind the vents, the shadow watching our daughter sleep. One evening, as the sun painted gold streaks across the floor, I knelt beside him. You saved our family, I whispered. You saw everything we couldn't. Rex pressed his forehead gently to mine, a silent promise. He would always see danger before we did. He would always protect us, because that's who he is, my guardian, my daughter's guardian, the dog who knew the truth before anyone else. Rex, the dog who exposed the secret above my head and saved my entire life.